Okay, so we have defined the previous period of the KPI, and then clicking next, we have a minimum method and the maximum method that we would like to define, and then we can define an image. We have lots of other images. Okay, we've defined the gauge here, and then we can select a set of members, and then we can select the title. So actually, I can say that I would like the title to be structured out of plenty of captions that I have here. So I can say that the title will contain also measures and products and so on. And then clicking finish, I finish building the KPI, and then the only thing I have to do is refresh the view. So using a KPI is very easy. We can the only thing we have to understand is that first of all, we have to create a view, and then we go to the KPI. We have to define, of course, a grid and the measures that we want to use, and then we go over to the KPI, and then we define there how do we want to see the KPI. And when we come back to the view, we will see a KPI in the shape we've defined. So that's now the status. Of course, the KPIs will be later on in the UI itself, and it will have lots of other functionalities, but it is not planned for the near month. So we've talked about KPI, and now we'd like to talk about a bit about admin work. So I would like to go to the admin. Notice that I'm still in the Necto Live demo server of mine. This server contains a lot of features that exist in the newest version, and you won't be able to see it in the public Necto server. So I'm just clicking here, and I just want to explain some functionalities about each one of the components. But first of all, let's answer some of your questions. So first question was Tom's. NovaView was 32-bit. Necto is only 64-bit now. So yes, the answer is yes. Necto works only on 64-bit. That's because of performance issues and so on. So we would like to emphasize that Necto is 64-bit oriented. Now, is there already a release data for the version where we do not need the desktop anymore for charts and KPIs? So I'm not sure when will it be, but it's in the roadmap, and I know that the developers are working for about a couple of weeks now about this subject. So I guess that it will be in the coming future, but not in the nearest future. So, but I cannot say I cannot commit for a specific date right now. Okay. So let's look about these components. Now, data sources and models you already know. Workboard enables me as an admin. Of course, if you are not admin, you see only data sources and models. As an admin, I can manage workboards from here. So I can also say that that this folder has these permissions, and I would like to predefine the whole folder connection properties, or to export a folder with all of its workboards to another server. So it will be perfect for a QA environment versus the development environment versus production environment. I can cut and code. I can do a lot of things, and I can also see some info about this workboard. Now, as I told you before, you can use this ID for a component. Okay, so this is about workboard. I think I already explained about application, so I won't repeat it right now. We already talked about administration as well. if I remember correctly, you know what? I'll repeat administration. So actually, administration gives me and it enables me to control the security type I'm using here in the Necto. So speaking of which, we have some kind of security, some kinds of security types, and I will explain in more depth now. First authentication type is Necto, the other is Windows, and the other is mixed. What is Necto authentication? Necto authentication is for computers for machines such as the machine I'm using right now, and it enables me to work in a workgroup environment, meaning that where Necto is some kind of it can be some kind of a cloud environment that you connect to, and you don't have an active directory to log in and put your credentials. So you actually click on the login page, username and password, like you do right now when you get into the server, and then you get into the server and you have lots of data security and so on defined. This could be defined also in the Necto or in the OLAP server in a different way. So we have two options here, either using Necto or Windows authentication. What is Windows authentication? So if Necto is for work groups, Windows will be for Active Directory or LDAP environment. So actually, for LDAP environment, I will use Windows authentication, and then every user that will enter the system will automatically be entered in the system, and everything will be created for him. So I don't really have to create a user for him. I just have to give him the link of the Necto, and then he connects, and then he can connect to the system. Now, I can say that he belongs to a specific role. So actually, in this environment, as you well know, the roles are being predefined in the OLAP environment. So if this user gets into the Necto, he will see only the data that is relevant for him. So that's for starters. Now, Necto users has to be predefined. So actually, against what I said before about Windows users, Necto users has to be predefined in the users section. Otherwise, the user can't click his name and password and get in. What is a mixed mode? In a mixed mode, we provide the option to authenticate both ways. So, for example, it can be very good for a company that works with providers. So if I'm working with providers or other people that has to see how they are moving, how they are doing, and so on, actually what happens is that we give them the ability to use the login and the login and credentials. And other users that are part of my Active Directory won't have to use them. So I'm giving these two possibilities to the users to get into the system and use it. Now, what are the benefits of using mixed? Of course, I'm giving two options, but I can also control who gets in and who does not get in. So actually, when using Windows authentication, I don't have to predefine a user. When using a Necto authentication, I have to define who are my users and what are their passwords and so on. And when using mixed, I also have to define who are the users. So even for Windows users, meaning even for Active Directory users, I have to define that they can enter the system. Now, this is the design that the Necto that we use to create the Necto. But the benefit is that you can prevent any unwanted user, even if this user is a part of one of your roles in the OLAP. You can define that he cannot get into the system. So this is all about authentication type. What is security mode? We have several types of security. So no security, in this case, it's a demo site and I would like to show everyone everything. So actually I'm saying no security, there is no data security defined on this on the data that we see. Now, we can also say that we use OLAP security. OLAP security is, as I said before, for a specific role or for a dynamic user. You can define what data can you see, what data can't you see, which dimensions and so on, which measures. Now, network security is a new kind of security if you are familiar with NovaView. So you are familiar with slicer security. It's not the same, but it comes from there. The idea is from there to use something alike. And it's much more sophisticated. So actually we give the option to use network security as well. So you don't have to define a role in the OLAP security. You can define the network security from here. And you also have the mixed mode, which enables you to use OLAP and Necto security. There are several recommendations according to it. So usually we will use one of them. We won't use both. But in specific cases, we might want to use both if we don't want to get access to a specific user. And we would like to use both. Two last things are cache data views and show OLAP data using user locale, which is quite understandable. Let's see what can I do here when importing roles and importing users. Clicking on import roles will enable me to connect to an OLAP data source. And then when connecting to a OLAP data source, I'll be able to see all of these databases, and I'll be able to import all of these of a specific OLAP database. Now, when importing roles, I can click here and say auto create users from OLAP roles users, meaning that I can create. I don't have to write users by my own. I can create users. And the user that I don't want to be part of the system, I can just delete them or lock them. What is import users? Import users will give me the ability to import users from a CSV file. Okay, so we have a specific way to import users to a Necto environment, and then we upload them to this environment. Okay. Now, sorry, I will answer a couple of your questions now. Can we give access to a user group? So actually, yes. First of all, you have to define a role, and then when defining the role, and I will show you how to do it. If I will go to the role section, and I will go to a specific role that I would like to define, so I can say, you know what, let's go to the admin role. And I would like the admin role to be defined in a specific way. So first of all, I have the option to select users to the admin. So I can say that Avital Sigal is one of the admin users, and I'll click here, click save, and then Avital will be part of the admin users. Now, I can also do something else. I can say that I would like the admin role to have all the users from a specific group. So I can attach a group. I can just write here a domain, and then I'll select one of the groups, and clicking here will give me all of the users that exist in a specific group to this role. Another question is, can we add a user group also in user section? So actually, what I was saying now is that you have to connect a group to a role, and then the user, and then the Necto security is being defined on a role. Let me show you that. So we have this Necto or data security. We can define it in a specific way. I won't get into it right now because we don't have time for it. But you can see that we can define a lot of things, the mode, and we can see which view it will affect, for example, and so on. And I can say that I would like to apply security for users and roles. So I can say that I would like it to be applied for a specific user or specific role. And if this role is contains actually a specific group, so it will be also applied to this specific group. So we already talked about administration roles and data security. I just want to say a few more words about roles. So these two roles, admin and everyone, are being created automatically when we install the Necto. And it gives us the ability to call everyone. Okay, so this everyone won't be enabled. I won't be able to do anything here because it is actually everyone. But the admin role is a role that I can play around with and change the properties of it. And I can also take roles from the OLAP, and I can also define a new role and put people inside this role and define what are the use cases of this role. So another question is, in the example shown, since authentication is Necto and security mode is no security, is there a default LDAP account used for access to SSAS queues? So first of all, if the authentication is Necto and the security mode is no security, it means that if this user can access Necto, he can see all of the data. And for a demo environment, this is fine, but not for a production environment, of course. So it could also be okay for a QA environment and for a development environment. Now, is there a default LDAP account used to access to SSAS Cube? Actually, we kind of pass the kind of skip the roles, and we just say to the SSAS not to use the roles that are predefined inside. So we actually skip all of the roles and get all of the information. We have a way to do this. So that's it for now about the users. Now, about users. We were talking before about a security that enables me to use an Necto user and also to use an OLAP security. Now, how that is possible? Because the thing is that if I'm using a Necto user, how do I connect it to the OLAP security? Of course, the OLAP security is connected to LDAP, and this specific user is a Necto user. It's not connected to LDAP. So what we're doing here is, if I'll take one of my users, I'll be able to attach to this user a domain user. Now, this domain user will have a security defined in the OLAP, and this security defined in the OLAP will be connected to the user. So every time the user enters the system, for the OLAP is not Arnon Pnini, but he's another user that I will write here. Okay? Now about locking a user, so I can lock a user and then activate, and then I can also delete a user.